Let's compare two different LEGO Star Wars Sith Infiltrators, and these are both mini builds. So LEGO has, as of the taping of this video, only made two different mini build versions of Darth Maul Sith Infiltrator. One was in 2004, and that is our vehicle on the left. And then a little bit more recently in 2020, LEGO released the second and only other mini build version of the Sith Infiltrator. Now, one of the ways that these sets are different is the one on the left, this original build, this was available at retail, and so it was just widely available everywhere at retail, whereas this build on the right, this is one of the foil packs, and this is a promotional set that is available to the European market. So the European market gets the LEGO Star Wars magazine, and those magazines periodically come with promotional items like this set. So our European friends are very fortunate they have access to that. So availability wise, both of these are retired products. This one's from 2004, so it's been retired quite a bit longer. And this one's from 2020, so it's a little easier to find these. Although since this newer one from 2020 was released primarily, it was released in the European market. Most of the places that you can find this set are in Europe. So if you are out of Europe, it's more likely that you would have to acquire this set by buying it from a European seller, which is no big deal. I know sometimes people are a little less comfortable with international shipping. I do it all the time. It's no big deal. It can mean that, the pricing for the shipping can be a little high, like especially if you were just going to get one set. If you are going to get this set from a European seller, you probably want to see if there's maybe some other sets that you could get from them or pieces. And one of the things you will see with these promotional sets is it's not uncommon for European sellers to offer multiple different models just because they subscribe to this magazine, so they may have others available. So that's something you can look for. But now if we get to this set themselves, or each of these sets, you can see how different they are. Well, first of all, you obviously notice the size difference. So the one from 2004 is a much larger build. So this one has 55 pieces, whereas this newer 2020 variant has only 34. But it's not just about the piece count, certainly. It's also about the size of the pieces. So part of what makes this 55 piece set seem larger is, beyond the piece count, some of the pieces in here are much larger. Like these little plates, these kind of wedge plates, those are pretty large. Now, one of the neat things about the early days of the mini builds is some of the printed pieces. So we have this nice printed radar dish right there. And there's even another printed dish, or not dish, this is like a little door to give you that nice visual of the rear of the ship. It's one of those little like slotted doors. So detail-wise, this original build from 2004 rather, it's just some nice details on it. We have some nice articulation with the wings as well. We've got these little hinge pieces. Oh, a little Easter egg on this original set is we have some different lightsabers. So some lightsabers are helping the wings here. We also have some lightsabers in the front with the landing gear. So, and the landing gear on this early set, it does fold up. So there's just kind of a few more details, a few more articulating or moving pieces on this early set. And it is mostly these gray colors. So we've got a lot of the light bluish gray and the dark bluish gray pieces. But then we do have a little bit of color present as well. So some blue pieces and then also some sand blue. So kind of a little bit of a less common color in there, just adding a little dimension. And you can just see the comparison with the color scheme. So this newer set on the right, it's similar. It's, you know, mostly these grays, the light bluish gray and dark bluish gray. But those are the only two colors. Well, I guess there's black for the landing gear for the newer one, but there's no other pop of color. It is kind of nice having those little sand blue accents on that original build. One of the differences with this newer build too is, well, so for the wings we have these little flag pieces instead, whereas on this 2020 or 2000, the 2004 build rather, has these wedge plates for the wings, and they're just flag pieces for the 2020 build. We've got a much more kind of prominent dome type of piece. So this 2004 build, it's a little bit more flat profile on the top, and the kind of dome on the newer build, it's a little more prominent, a little more kind of rounded. And then we also have a lot of this kind of tiling and sort of a flattening out of the front of the ship, making it a little more sleek on this newer build. So with these tile pieces and then with these slope pieces, it gives it a little bit more of a sleek appearance that way, you know, rounding off the Lego studs. And then the bottom, by comparison, you can really see sort of this V shape on, well, both the bottom and the top of this newer Sith Infiltrator build. This V shape comes together. There's this hinge plate that connects these other plates together to form sort of that point of the front of the ship. And then the landing gear is much simpler on this newer build. It's just this permanent fixed piece, so it's not foldable like on that older build, but it does still help the ship kind of stay propped up reasonably well. And then you can see also on the bottom there's another radar dish on this newer build, also kind of rounding off the appearance of the ship. So this newer build, it seems to have a lot of accents that kind of round off the appearance of it, you know, whether it's the tiling type of pieces toward the front of the ship, or just to create a bit more of a round kind of cockpit area of the ship, both with that radar dish on the bottom and that domed piece on the top. And then if we just take a look at the profile, this is kind of that foreshadowing of the later TIE fighters in this series. They both do a good job at capturing that. Oh, I gotta fix the wing on this one. But it is, you know, some of the details on this older one. I do like that detailing on that door in the back. And that does fold out too. You have to take the top dish, but you can kind of fold it down to make it like that ramp. All right. Well, this has been a look at these two different builds from two different eras. What do you guys think of these two different Sith Infiltrators? How do you compare them? Feel free to comment below.